And you absolutely are probably going to see some major health improvements short term when you go from a standard American highly processed food diet to a vegan diet. But I think for a lot of people, they realize after they're on the vegan diet for a little while, they start developing other health issues. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 13 of the Clean Kitchen Podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kevin.
And we are here in a different studio than we normally are because I moved apartments. So for those watching on YouTube, you're going to notice it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Got a new couch. But we got a very interesting and important topic to talk about today. We're going to talk about the vegan diet. And it's gained a lot of popularity in recent years because of health reasons. People think it's healthier. People think it may be better for the environment. And people also may think that it is better ethically speaking, for ethical reasons, which I understand all of those things. But with the vegan diet, there does come some very important vitamin and mineral deficiencies. And these deficiencies can prevent you from living an optimal life. And it turns out that about 84% of vegans and vegetarians eventually go back to eating meat. And primarily the reason is for health reasons. They see their health declining or their health isn't as optimal as they want it to be, in which case they return to eating meat. So we're going to talk about 3 celebrities in particular that were vegan, but then they went back to eating meat. Yes. And what were those 3 celebrities, Kevin?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Miley Cyrus, Mike Tyson, and Bear Grylls.
Okay.
So this is, the 84% I think is a shocking number. And what's driving it is health reasons. And all 3 celebrities we're about to talk about had that same experience.
Yes. And we're even going to talk about, too, a little bit later on about saturated fat and cholesterol. That's a very controversial topic. So we'll get into that as well and give our opinions.
Yep. And before we jump in real quick, the purpose of this is not to attack vegans.
Yes.
We think that it's just important to be informed on the trade-offs of a plant-based diet. This is an intentional choice to be vegan in veganism, and that's good. Thinking about what you're putting in your body is a good thing. Mm-hmm. So let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
All right, so Miley Cyrus is our first celebrity. So
Okay.
She was vegan for a while, and she says, quote, "I was vegan for a very long time. I've had to introduce fish and omegas into my life because my brain wasn't functioning properly." That's kind of scary to think about, your brain not working right.
Yep.
And the reason that she felt this way is because when you're on a vegan diet, you miss out on a lot of key omega-3 fatty acids.
Mm-hmm. Something we've talked about a lot on this podcast.
Yes. So why is there a correlation between a plant-based diet, veganism, and omega-3 fatty acids?
Omega-3s are primarily found in animal foods. A lot of pasture-raised eggs contain a lot of omega-3s, and seafood contain a lot of omega-3s. There's also some omega-3s in grass-fed beef and things like that. But the main reason that vegans and I guess vegetarians can get more omega-3, and for people that don't know, vegetarians, they still consume dairy products and eggs, while vegans do not consume any animal-based products, I guess. Not even honey, right?
Right, yeah.
Because it technically comes from an animal.
Yeah.
So I think vegetarians are a little bit better when it comes to the omega-3 because hopefully they're consuming some eggs, which are a great source of omega-3s. But the omega-3 fats in plant foods versus animal foods are very different. So the omega-3 fats found in plant foods are called ALA, or alpha linoleic acid. And we'll get back to that in a second. But the omega-3 fats found in animal products are EPA and DHA, which is really the omega-3 fats that we want. For example, if you take fish oil, like a fish oil supplement, that's because it has omega-3s in it. And that's DHA and EPA. So that's the form of omega-3s that our bodies thrive on.
Okay.
So going back to ALA, which is the omega-3 fat found in plant foods, there's a very small percentage of this that gets converted to EPA and DHA in the body, which is why the omega-3 fats found in plant foods are not the best source. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. It sounds like not all things are equal. Like we talked about on many different topics, one carb in one specific food does not equal one carb in another food.
Exactly. Our body just absorbs it totally differly. So.
Is this the bioavailability? Or is this separate from that?
This is kind of separate because our body needs to take the ALA, the omega-3 from plant foods, and it needs to convert it into EPA and DHA.
Okay.
And it's that conversion where it's 0 to 4% of ALA is converted to DHA, and then I think it's about 8% of ALA is converted to EPA.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very small percentage actually converted to the omega-3 fats that we need to thrive.
Yeah. So you almost need to consume double the amount of ALA omega-3 in order to get the same benefit from consuming.
Probably more than double.
At least double. Yeah. Best case scenario.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A lot.
Yeah.
So that's a reason why a lot of people on the vegan diet, they'll be like, oh, I can just get my omega-3s from plant foods, but it's an entirely different type of omega-3.
That's really, really a key, important piece there.
Yeah.
And omega-3s, again, why is it that they're important? Why do we need omega-3s?
Yeah, so these are essential fat. An omega-3 is an essential fatty acid, meaning that our bodies don't make it. We need to get it from food. And omega-3 fatty acids are so important for so many different things, including cell membrane health, brain health, heart health, eye health. It decreases inflammation. It's anti-inflammatory. Joint health, mood and behavior, energy levels, like Miley experienced, I guess, with her brain fog. So many important reasons to consume omega-3 from animal foods.
Yeah. It's important because we need it, and the best way that we can get it is from animal foods.
Yes.
Okay. And
our body just and I guess that is kind of getting back to the bioavailability. I said it wasn't, but I guess it kind of is because our bodies just know what to do with it more from these animal foods as well.
Yeah, it's like a different form of bioavailability.
Yeah.
Conversion availability.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one piece that you miss out on being a vegan is a lack of omega-3, and even the ones you're getting aren't as good. But there's also a lack of vitamin B12 when it comes to a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, this is actually very dangerous for a woman who is either. I mean, it's dangerous for everyone because the vegan diet is very low in vitamin B12. But specifically for women who are either pregnant or breastfeeding to be on a vegan or even vegetarian diet, and this can hinder neurological developments of the baby. So it's very dangerous for you, but also for your child.
Yeah.
And children that grow up vegetarian or vegan can also suffer impaired growth because of this vitamin B12 deficiency. Also, an omega-3 fatty acid deficiency can stunt growth.
Yeah, very important to know there.
Scary.
And where do people normally get vitamin B12 from?
Meat.
Meat is the main source.
I mean, chicken, meat, and fish, I'd say, are the main sources of vitamin B12.
Okay.
Yeah.
And outside of women who are pregnant or breastfeeding, it's still important for the average person to be consuming some form of vitamin B12.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Very. It's a very important vitamin.
Okay, so while we're talking about vitamin B12, are there other areas that people might be deficient in that are on a plant-based diet?
Yeah, a few of the main vitamins and minerals are, vitamins and minerals are calcium, iron, zinc, and vitamin D. And you need, you need vitamin D to absorb calcium. So that's why a lot of vegans are deficient in this.
And where do you primarily get vitamin D from?
The main source would be the sun.
The sun, yep.
Yeah. But then there's really not a lot of food sources that contain vitamin D. Like pasture-raised eggs would contain vitamin D. I actually supplement with vitamin D, so I think,
that could be another good source.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that's Miley. We talked about why she experienced some brain fogginess as a vegan, and she's since come off that train, and she's in the majority. She's in the 84%.
Yeah.
And come in and consumed more of those omega-3s, and
she feels much better.
She feels
now.
much better.
And you said she was on the Joe Rogan podcast.
She
that's
was
where she talked about this.
Yeah. So if you want more information, that's where she talks about her vegan journey.
Interesting.
All right. The next one we're moving on to is one of the most famous boxers of all time.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson.
I did not know he was vegan.
I had no idea.
At some point.
I was shocked with how many celebrities were vegan.
Yeah.
It was very common.
Yeah, I guess because I mean, a lot of like mainstream media and health advocates say that this is the diet to be on. This is the healthiest diet. So I think people that are performing at a very high level, like athletically speaking, or even Miley, like I mean, she's performing. She needs to be in good shape. She needs to be feeling healthy. So they're I feel like they're willing to try anything that it takes to, feel their best and perform their best. So I guess that's why a lot of athletes and celebrities have tried this diet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
They're all looking for a little edge.
Yeah.
And this is a new way to try that out.
Yeah. It turns out it's not,
Might
not be it.
Yeah.
And also we can talk about this later on, but
Yeah.
I've also experimented with a vegan vegetarian diet a few years ago, which didn't work out for me very well.
No, I want to pick your brain on that a little bit. Yeah. So Mike Tyson, also on the Joe Rogan podcast, went on and said, I stopped because of the training. So he was getting back in shape.
Yeah.
And because of what I wanted my body to look like and the strength that I wanted to possess. So I guess the takeaway there is probably a lack of protein.
Mm-hmm.
Protein and muscle are key. They go together. And plant-based protein is not the same as animal-based protein. Similar to what we talked about with just omega-3s there. There's a key difference. Not all proteins are the same. So why, in the first place, do our bodies even need protein?
So first off, animal protein contains all 9 essential amino acids. And for the most part, plant-based protein does not. And if it does, there are certain foods that contain all 9 essential amino acids that are plant-based, like quinoa and chia seeds. But for the most part, these contain much less of the amino acids. And again, we need these amino acids to thrive, all 9 of them in adequate amounts. And so Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, who I've been following for a very long time on Instagram and YouTube, and I listen to her podcasts and various things, she is an expert in protein and muscle and how important protein is for longevity and how important muscle is for longevity, and that as we age, we need to have muscle to be healthy and to prevent various diseases. So protein is extremely important.
Yeah. Having that built-up muscle in our bodies helps our body fight a lot of diseases and other things that might come our way. So it's a defense mechanism almost too.
Yeah.
And the main way we get that muscle is from protein.
Yes.
That's the best source.
And the best source of protein is animal foods.
Based. Okay. And so
yeah, and all this to say, like, you can be healthy. I'm not saying you can't be healthy on a vegan diet. I think you can, but it's just so much more difficult. And you really have to pay attention to every little thing you put in your body, as opposed to if you just ate animal foods, like you just kind of go with how you feel and you don't have to pay as close attention to it. Still pay attention to it if you're striving for certain things or to lose weight or to gain muscle or whatever it may be. But I don't want to say like it's impossible. It is possible, but it might not be optimal.
Right. That's a good way to say it. And the other thing with eating a plant-based diet is that you're cutting out all of the processed foods.
Yes.
So that's a big benefit to really focusing on your diet. And even if you're consuming plant-based protein, you're cutting out a lot of the junk, and that can be very beneficial.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the main arguments that I've watched a few debates online where it's, vegans versus carnivores or vegans versus animal-based or things like that. And the argument for the animal-based side or the carnivore side arguing against the vegans is that exactly what you just said. These vegans are cutting out all of the processed food, and that may be the reason that they think the vegan diet is helping them. And you absolutely are probably going to see some major health improvements short term when you go from a standard American highly processed food diet to a vegan diet.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, they realize after they're on the vegan diet for a little while, they start developing other health issues.
Yeah.
So
is there any situation where you could see going to a vegan diet for a short-term period being beneficial for someone?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As like a reset?
Yeah. And kind of like a detoxification. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say, very, very short term.
And like less than 30 days.
I don't have the answer to that. Yeah. I'd say, probably less.
Less than 30 days.
Yeah.
Part of this too is almost just experimenting a little bit with your body and seeing what works best for you.
See how you feel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's a great point.
Yeah. So when we aren't consuming enough protein, what happens to our bodies? What's really going on in the inside when we're missing out on that key protein?
I mean, first of all, we're going to lose muscle mass. And that's something I experienced firsthand when I went on a vegan vegetarian type diet.
Yeah, tell me more about that. So what was the context there?
Yeah, so this was back in 2019, 2020 timeframe. I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 2018 and immediately switched my diet and was just eating way more whole foods, immediately felt better. But then as I was doing more research, I came across the vegan diet and it was, oh, this is the new best thing. You're going to feel so great. It's so healthy. You just eat basically all plant foods.
Yeah.
So basically anything that's not processed food or animal based. So this can include, beans, nuts, seeds, legumes, everything, rice, whatever, fruits, vegetables, obviously. And I was still suffering from some digestive issues at the time and back pain. So I thought, okay, let me try this.
Yeah.
So I do it, and I think I maybe only lasted a month or two because I felt so bad.
Worse than you did before?
Worse than I did before.
Wow.
I had no energy, or I had very little energy throughout the day. I would get halfway through the day and feel absolutely tired. I felt like I always needed a nap. I was not sleeping very well. I lost muscle, like I was just saying. I was the thinnest I had ever been. My digestion had gotten worse. What else am I missing? I'd say those are the main things.
Yeah.
So what I was mainly eating was like for breakfast / lunch, I would make myself a big smoothie with all this fruit, and I'd put all these different powders into it. And looking back on it, I was like, why the heck did I do that? Because I noticed it in real time. I was having these smoothies for lunch, and I would just feel so bloated after. My digestion was not good, and immediately after I ate, I would get so tired. And I was also still hungry after I ate that. So I don't know. There were just so many red flags that I saw immediately, but I was like, this is what people are saying to do, so I feel like I should do it. And it was not.
No.
It was not the right thing to do.
The complete opposite of what food should do for you.
And another thing is, I've always kind of gone to the gym, and I was still, at the time, I was going to the gym, and I noticed one of the first times that I went to the gym after starting this vegan diet, my joints were so weak. Like I was lifting normal weight, and I remember getting back from the gym one time, and my wrist was killing me. And then I woke up the next day, and I couldn't even move it, and I had to wear a brace for a few weeks.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And there was another thing too. I had injured my ankle as well playing basketball, and badly twisted my ankle, and it was like all black and blue, and it took forever to heal, like over a year to heal.
Oh my gosh.
And I think part of that was because of the diet I was on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So you experimented, you tried it out, and now you know for sure
that is not the diet.
It does not work for you.
It does not work for me.
No.
No, I will never go back to that.
No.
No.
But in the moment, it seemed like a valid option.
Yeah. I mean, there was all these health influencers on YouTube and these doctors saying that, plant-based is really, really good for you.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Not for you. Yeah.
No.
You tried it.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
And for a lot of reasons that we've talked about today. Now we know why.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I bet I had so many deficiencies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. The being sore after working out, I've heard a lot of people on the carnivore diet say that you don't get sore after you work out because of all that protein and muscle that you're building up.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
No, obviously, the opposite holds true.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, there's a worry with some in the plant-based community that consuming an excess amount of red meat protein from animals has a high linkage to a high cholesterol, which can be bad.
High LDL cholesterol.
High LDL
that's
cholesterol.
That's the bad cholesterol that a lot of people say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that.
Yeah. So first of all, in the 1960s, fat was falsely blamed for causing heart disease, when in fact it was sugar that was actually the culprit. So there were Harvard scientists that did this experiment. I think we've actually talked about this in a previous podcast, that they were paid off. So they were looking at sugar and fat, I believe, and they were paid off by the sugar industry to blame fat as the main reason for cardiovascular disease, as opposed to the real culprit, which was sugar. And our dietary guidelines were based off of this one study for so long until decades later, we found out that these Harvard scientists were paid off by the sugar industry and that we were basically basing our dietary guidelines off of misinformation.
Yeah. This is one of those mind-blowing things where it's like everything you've ever been taught, everything you know, was based on a completely false study.
Yes. So fat is not the culprit here.
Yeah.
Fat is a very good thing, and it is not a cause of heart disease.
Yeah. For years, protein from animals has been blamed and linked to high LDL cholesterol, and it's just factually not true.
Well, it does increase your LDL cholesterol.
But I guess
saturated fat.
That's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing.
That's the key takeaway.
Yes.
Okay.
The key takeaway is high LDL is not a bad thing, and you know, cardiologists and other doctors will argue with you that you want to get your LDL low, but when you look at the studies, there's no correlation between high LDL and increased risk of cardiovascular disease. In fact, people that have high saturated fat intake, which is going to increase your LDL cholesterol, they're actually at a lower risk for stroke.
Oh my God. It's the complete opposite.
Yes. There's basically an inverse relationship.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we've thought all these years, high saturated fat intake, high LDL, higher risk for cardiovascular disease. It's actually the opposite.
Wow.
It's high saturated fat intake. Yes, it will probably increase your LDL cholesterol, but that will actually protect you against cardiovascular disease.
So then, because of people that follow a plant-based diet, they're missing out on all of this. Or they have to work harder to get there?
Yeah, I don't know if there's probably not saturated fat in any plant
I wouldn't
foods.
think so.
I know like coconut oil has saturated fat, but it's mostly the animal protein, coconut oil, and then like beef tallow and ghee and stuff like that, and butter that has saturated fat. So yeah, the vegans and vegetarians are not going to be consuming a lot of saturated fat.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they could be at higher risk.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. So that was Mike Tyson. Anything else on kind of the protein impact of a plant-based diet?
No, there was just the only other point that I wanted to bring up is there was someone by the name of Ansel Keys. Have you ever heard of him before?
No.
So he was also another major reason. Again, this was in the 1960s, similar time frame as the Harvard study with the Harvard scientists. He was also a very important figure in this because he linked saturated fats to heart disease through a study that he had done, which was called the 7-country study.
Okay.
And many people criticize this work now because of he just used very selective data, and a lot of it was observational, and it didn't necessarily prove causation. So, but all that to say, his findings were part of dietary guidelines for a very long time, and it's kind of now getting disproven that saturated fat really isn't the devil like we've made it out to be. It's really the refined carbs and sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's two takeaways from this part of the conversation. One is that a lot of the guidelines that we have based off this study in the 60s, that's not that long ago. That's only 60 years ago. So we don't really know a ton about a lot, it feels like.
Yeah.
And two, these studies in general can be skewed.
Yes.
We just saw two studies. We just talked about two that were skewed. One was paid off and one used selective data. And what you did was you tried something out and you realized it didn't work for you. I think that might be the takeaway here.
Yes.
Is that if you're not feeling great and you've been on a vegan or plant-based diet, then try something different.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that, just quick note there, that kind of made me think too, like people can make the outcome of a study whatever they want. They can manipulate anything, and they can show anything causes this or whatever. So it's very important to look at who's funding the study and just what type of study is being done.
Yep. The next celebrity we're going to move on to is one that is pretty well associated with food and kind of this, I guess, a unique lifestyle, and that's Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
So he's a Discovery Channel kind of guy and always out in the woods, always doing stuff, very active,
Yeah.
very much in good shape. Another guy It's almost a performer with the other two in a different sense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So he said, and he was on a BBC television show, and he was being interviewed, and he said, I was vegan for a long time. I wrote a book on how I thought it was great, but my health really tanked, and I couldn't do 25 pull-ups. This is someone that is in really good shape that you'd expect to be able to do some pull-ups.
I was going to say 25 pull-ups. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
In a row.
Yeah.
I don't think
Could you do 25?
No, not 25.
No.
Maybe 15.
Yeah.
You?
25, I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
I can get there.
10 to 15.
Yeah. So he talked about how he was vegan for a really long time and even wrote a whole book on it that I think a lot of people still reference.
Yeah.
And he's completely changed his view and now pretty much only consumes steak, liver, honey, and eggs. He said that's almost it. He has that every night.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's I guess animal-based technically.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I guess you could even argue carnivore. But yeah.
Yeah. And one of the side effects that he had while on a vegan diet is actually, he said he had quite a few kidney stones, which I thought was interesting.
Kidney stones.
Kidney stones. Friends. And I did a little more digging on this and found that vegans are actually a lot more susceptible to kidney stones.
Yes.
And so why is that?
Well, you have to look at plant foods in general.
Okay.
And a lot of plant foods contain defense chemicals, and I mean, think about it. You're out in the woods. You're looking for something to eat. Animals defend themselves by, attacking you, or they have claws, or they have razor sharp teeth, or whatever. That's how they defend themselves. Mm-hmm. How do plants defend themselves? They put these defense chemicals in them. So a perfect example of that is oxalates, which high oxalate intake has been shown to cause kidney stones. And some of the foods that are highest in oxalates are these superfoods that we've been told are amazing for our health, which I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who started this whole thing that spinach and kale are superfoods and that they're so healthy for us.
Yeah. Because
when you look at it, they're actually not that healthy.
I have a feeling it was a spinach or kale company.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, there's a bunch of other foods like beets and so many other foods that contain high oxalates, but kale and spinach are some of the main ones, and those are some of the foods that are overconsumed by people because they think it's healthy. And that's something that I did too. When I would make these smoothies, I would, I'd throw fruit in there, and then I'd throw in like 2 or 3 big handfuls of spinach and kale, and thinking I was so healthy when reality I was just not doing anything good for my body.
Do you consume anything like that? Do you have any spinach, any kale?
No.
Do you have any vegetables?
I eat less and less vegetables as my life goes on. I eat less and less vegetables.
And how do you feel?
Better and better.
Yeah.
My health is only improving as I cut out more vegetables.
And I don't want to
I know I don't want to say like don't eat vegetables because I don't know, but experiment. I'm experimenting. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm experimenting. Maybe experiment. Increase or decrease the amount of vegetables you consume. See how you feel.
Yeah.
I feel better.
I'm going to do that. Next 30 days.
30 days?
No vegetables. I just want to try it out.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing anyone can do is experiment for yourself.
Yep. Test it out.
So you're going to do it next 30 days.
So I'll keep everyone posted on how I feel.
Okay.
I had carrots last night. Last vegetable for the next 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you going to go? Meat and fruit? Or
I'll go meat. Yeah. I still like fruit.
Yeah.
And like in a carnivore diet, can you have like butter and ghee?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll still have that, but I won't go full carnivore. I'm going to cut out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cut out vegetables and keep it simple.
Yeah, just cut out vegetables. Yeah. Keep it simple. You don't want to do too much at once.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't eat a lot of vegetables at all.
And you feel better.
I feel better.
Yeah. Everyone's different too.
More energy. Going back to all the things that the negative things that I experienced on a vegan diet, I have more energy. I don't get tired throughout the day. I am the strongest I've ever been. Mm-hmm. I am sleeping great. My digestion is the best it's ever been. I don't get bloated at all, like never. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What else?
I mean, what else can you ask for? I think everyone wants that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
I don't want to get too. We can go more in depth about what I eat, but I don't know. I don't want to get too off track here.
Yeah. So then maybe just wrapping this up. So we've talked a lot about the trade-offs of having a plant-based diet. Any final thoughts?
Yes. So as I said earlier, I don't want to, and now it sounds like we're just demonizing the vegan diet and saying that all these foods are bad for you, but I don't want to say that it's impossible to be healthy on a vegan diet. It's absolutely possible. Like I said, you just have to pay much closer attention to it because it's much easier to develop these deficiencies in vitamins and minerals and amino acids that you really can't get from plant foods. So also just another note here, as I think, and this is a way I've been thinking more and more recently, is what did we consume evolutionarily speaking? What have we historically consumed? And we've been consuming meat for 2.5 million years. So if you're going to tell me that a study done in 1960 saying that fat is bad is going to basically disprove the fact that we've eaten meat for millions of years, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at history as opposed to a study every day.
Yep. And how you feel too.
And how I feel.
Yeah. Your own feelings and how your body reacts to the food you consume also plays a huge role in this.
And also, just another note, a plant-based diet that's consists of whole foods, like fruits, vegetables, mainly fruits and vegetables, I'd say, is much better than a plant-based diet that these big food corporations are pushing with the fake meat, the fake eggs, the fake butter, all these plant-based products. I can't tell you how bad these plant-based products are that you see in grocery stores are, like the packaged ones.
Yeah.
So
like the fake burgers.
Yeah. They're all just terrible.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons that people, or I don't want to say one of the main reasons, but a reason that people gravitate towards a vegan diet is because they want to stop animal cruelty. They don't want animals to die because of them.
Yeah.
But then they're going out and eating these fake plant-based burgers, these fake plant-based whatever, fill in the blank. And most of these consist of wheat, corn, soy. These are the most widely produced crops in the U.S. And I hate to tell you, but to grow these crops, you are killing so many animals: squirrels, rabbits, mice, snakes, birds, bees, everything to grow your soy burger than killing one cow and providing thousands of pounds of meat for people.
Yeah. Yep. And if you're buying grass-fed,
regeneratively raised,
exactly.
especially, which is the only meat that I buy.
Yep. It's having a positive impact on the environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A positive impact on the environment. It's ethically much better.
Yeah.
So that's just another note.
Yeah. I think that's an important point because it is a reason that a lot of people consider veganism.
Yeah. I think it's really the three main reasons: health reasons. And it's funny. We both listened to a podcast recently with Dr.
Paul
Saladino.
Yeah.
Dr. Paul Saladino and Dr. Anthony Chaffee. I don't know how you say it. They did a podcast together, if you're familiar with those two. And it was funny. And I just have to mention this. They said the first step towards an animal-based or a carnivore diet is a vegan diet because people are trying to get healthier.
Yeah.
Which in my case is 100% true.
Yeah.
The vegan diet was the first step for me to now basically kind of be on an animal-based diet where I'm feeling my best. But yeah, the three main reasons that people go vegan is health reasons, environmental reasons, and ethical reasons. And I think there can be arguments for all those on the opposing side.
Yep. If you really look at the facts.
Yeah, if you look at the facts.
Yep.
And not just look at what mainstream media is saying.
Yeah. Yep. Always important to consider every piece of the puzzle. And hopefully that's what we did today with this, is just give you both sides of it and really understand what you might be missing out on a plant-based diet. All right, we're going to play a little game now, moving on from plant-based diet.
Okay.
Pantry staples are a popular topic in food. We're going to have a little fun with it, though. We're going to do a draft.
Okay.
So we each have 4 picks, but we can't pick each other's picks.
Okay.
And so we're going to go back and forth.
Back and forth. Okay.
Yep. So
4
Mount Rushmore style.
Okay.
4 presidents on the Mount Rushmore.
Okay, so these are like the 4 pantry staples that
Yeah.
I can't live without.
Your top 4.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta have them.
Okay.
So hopefully this will also help people inform what you're looking for.
Yeah.
To always have on hand. So why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
I'll go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So is this an order of like best?
There's some strategy to it.
Okay.
Because you might play a little offense or defense depending on what you think I'm going to take.
Okay. All right. Number 1 pantry staple for me that I really can't live without, that I use multiple times a day, every single day. Oh, no. You know where I'm going with this?
I think you're going to take mine.
Ghee.
Oh, no.
Grass-fed ghee, baby.
Oh, man. That was my 1-1. So I'm in trouble here.
Sorry.
Dang. Okay, I gotta reset a little bit. My strategy's ruined. I'm gonna take with my first overall pick, and we're going snake style, so I get back to back.
What? Are we actually?
Oh yeah, that's how it works.
What?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with something we've talked about just recently. Is salt.
Oh,
I'm gonna take salt as a pantry staple.
Specific type of salt?
I'm gonna take Himalayan.
Pink Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's gonna be mine. So you can't have salt.
Okay, that's a good one. I actually didn't even think about that one.
Oh, no.
No, but that's a great one.
Yeah. When we just talked about that recently.
Yeah.
The importance of salt.
The last episode.
Yeah.
Definitely go listen to that if you don't know what type of salt to buy
Yeah.
versus avoid, and the whole high blood pressure thing, we kind of debunked that as well. So as soon as you're done listening here, go listen to that one.
Yep. Okay, with my second pick.
I thought you said back and forth. You
I
said we
did
were
say
going
back and forth. We can go back and forth. You go next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to take a pick away from me. All right, number 2, I'll go with one that I know you probably won't choose.
Okay.
And this is definitely also something recently, I'd say within the past couple months, that I've started to consume every single day, which is raw honey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I don't have it a lot.
Yeah.
But
I know you don't.
I'm interested.
Yeah. You should start testing it out.
Yeah.
Throw it on that beef, like I said.
Okay.
A little topping.
Yeah. So you've got ghee and raw honey. How you feeling?
I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really good about those 2 picks.
All right. I'm gonna go with my next pick. I'm gonna go with beef broth. I feel like
Bone broth?
Bone broth.
Or beef or
Beef broth?
I mean beef broth,
Bone broth?
Bone broth is with the bones.
Yeah.
Beef broth is not.
Okay.
They're both good. Bone broth is a little bit more nutritious.
I'm gonna go bone broth then.
Okay.
I feel like
Kettle on fire?
Kettle on fire. Shout out.
Nice.
You can just do a lot with it and it adds a ton of flavor to a
Yes.
meal.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It adds so much flavor.
Yeah. All right. So
And you can drink that. You can sip that on its own too.
yeah, you can.
Just drink it by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that every now and
yeah?
then. Especially if I'm sick. Really good for boosting your immune system. It's got
Okay.
a lot of vitamins and minerals.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm loving my picks.
Yeah, those are good picks.
I got some
Salt
flavor.
and bone broth.
Yeah.
We're definitely towards the animal-based crowd here.
Yeah.
With these picks.
All right.
All right,
Your
pick number
pick next.
3. Pick number 3, something I always have on hand, pantry staple. Yeah, bone broth was a good one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'll go lemons, since I always have lemons on hand, and
Yep.
I always have lemon water in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'll go lemons.
That's true. You do. You're a big lemon guy.
Yeah, big lemon guy.
Yeah.
I like lemons.
Yep. Oh, are we counting snacks? With a snack account?
If you always have it, I'd say like if you always have it on hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I always have beef sticks. On
Oh,
hand.
I was
Yeah.
gonna choose that one. You do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Chomps.
Okay.
I like chomps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Paleo Valley guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, always have some beef sticks.
Okay.
Great snack. Great to go snack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I like that.
All right. So that's 3 and 3.
Yep.
Fourth and final pick. I'll stick with the produce category here, and I'll go bananas.
Ah.
I always have bananas on hand.
Yeah.
I normally consume 2 to 3 bananas a day.
Yeah. That many?
Yeah.
At what point in the day do you have them?
Normally, like, so I'll eat lunch. I'll have my beef and with like zucchini or something like that, and then I'll eat a banana or 2,
Interesting.
depending on how hungry I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always listen to my body
Yeah.
to see what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll round it out then.
Okay.
Can't believe I'm getting this in round 4. This is round 1 value.
Oh.
Olive oil.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. that's
Always
a good
cook with
one.
olive oil.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love that in the round 4 value
Yeah.
pick.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Another one that I wanted to choose. What
Honorable mentions.
that I was gonna choose. Yeah. Honorable mention was butter.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I don't know. I feel like there's not a whole other.
No?
There's not a whole lot of other items that I always have on hand.
No, that's what you always
Those are the
get.
main ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went recap quick.
Ghee, raw honey, lemons, bananas.
How you feel about that?
I feel good.
That's a good
Yeah, I
draft.
feel good about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I consume all those on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I went salt,
And you had salt.
bone broth, olive oil in round 4, and then in round 3 I took the Chomps beef sticks.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that was
All
fun.
right, that was great. We
Yeah.
should do that every time.
I like that.
All right. That's going to be it for episode 13 of the Clean Kitchen Podcast, everybody. We appreciate you listening. Don't forget that Clean Kitchen agreement. Subscribe, rate, review. You know what to do. We will see you next week in episode 14.
See ya.